You okay? What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another video. It's a video I never thought I'd do with D Sky that's joining me today. I won't say too much. Just before I say that, BT Sport. This video is brought to you by BT Sport. BT Sport will broadcast all 10 Premier League midweek fixtures exclusively from Tuesday the 30th of August to Thursday the 1st of September, including the massive West Ham versus Spurs on Wednesday. With BT Sport Monthly Pass, you can watch huge amounts of football from the Premier League, UEFA Champions League that we're not in, UEFA Europa League, you can skip that as well, UEFA Europa League Conference, that's the one you want, Serie A, Ligue 1 and the Vanarama National League for the next 30 days for just £25 with no contract. To sign up, visit bt.com/monthly pass. I'll leave the link in the description down below, and thank you very much for BT Sport for arranging this video. Sim,
Nick,
how are you?
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on.
I'm sure your fans will love my face being on the channel.
We've had our problems in the past, haven't we? Huh?
You say that?
Yeah. We haven't always been the most friendly towards each other, but does that come with rivalry for you?
I think so. I think it's just a bit of the rivalry spilling over into real life. I guess that's how it is with fan channels. I mean, I've had probably the same at AFTV. It just happens. You would try and keep it cordial, and then you see things, they get clipped up, and then all of a sudden you get narratives about you. But whatever. Look, I'm happy about it. I'm happy to be on the channel.
We was talking just before, and we was talking about, do you get much stick from Arsenal fans? And you said West Ham was the worst ones. Is it the clipping up that does it? Because obviously I've been clipped up as well. It was going around all the Tottenham forums, the fighting cock and everything else, with me saying that we was going to finish above you one year. I find them quite funny, to be honest with you. I'm never offended by them.
No, I don't mind. I'm not offended by it. It is what it is. Like, they are funny moments. I think but the thing is, I guess when you're getting into the content creation game, like I wouldn't say your biggest fear, but one of the things is, like, do you want to become a meme and stuff? You want to avoid that. And literally within a month of us starting making videos, like one of our first game was the West Ham when it was our first game at the London Stadium, and that was going around the circles because I think we said we were going to batter you or something, and we end up losing, so we've always had like a negative association in our minds of like the London Stadium and West Ham and everything like that, and then obviously Lanzini happened, and then that went viral, that went crazy. Always seems to be West Ham.
Lanzini seems to be a bit of a thorn in your side as well, doesn't he?
He always seems to come up with something against us. He's basically our two worst moments on YouTube have come because of Lanzini, so I really don't like that guy. But other than that, it's been okay. I just feel like with West Ham, I think when we get stick from like Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans and stuff like that, it's usually like good-natured banter and stuff. When it comes to West Ham, there's definitely it's just vicious. Which is what it is, but that's what I get.
I've got to say, we've had the same. I said a lot of my vicious stuff has come last year through Arsenal fans, and we did get some from Tottenham fans. But see, I'm very thick-skinned. I let that stuff roll off unless you're, personally insulting my family or making threats against me. I really don't mind. I think it's all par for the course. But let's get into the game. West Ham versus Tottenham. Quite even. Traditionally, going into these fixtures, like you seem to beat us, we seem to beat you, and it goes on like an endless cycle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. I think recently you've obviously at the London Stadium you've had the upper hand. I think you've won the last two. Although before that we actually had quite a good record at the London Stadium. I think we won 3 on the trot.
There was a thing going around that Tottenham won more consecutive at the London Stadium than we did.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's a weird one because then at the new stadium, you beat us in the first ever game, and you had quite a decent record away from him. But then all of a sudden, the last few times we've beaten you. So I feel like West Ham, it doesn't matter where you are on the table, how badly you're playing. You could be in a relegation battle, and still, whenever you come up against us, you just turn up. Especially when we have something to play for.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's because of the rivalry. I think West Ham's, from what I see anyway, from the outside, it seems like West Ham's #1 rivalry is Tottenham. I feel like with that with Chelsea, I feel like that with Arsenal, and I feel like that with West Ham. They all hate Spurs #1. Wherever we're just the most hated club in London, so it just means more.
So why do you think that is?
It's a great question. I think Arsenal and Spurs speaks for itself. When it comes to Chelsea and West Ham, the only thing I can say is I don't think they have rivalries like Chelsea, like their rivalries with Fulham. Like they don't really care about that. You know what I mean? It's just so obvious that they're better than Fulham. Like they even care about Fulham. And I think when it comes to West Ham, obviously you have the whole Millwall stuff, but that's never going to go away. But in the Premier League, you always look for Spurs as your first fixture. That's your number one rival. I don't know why it is why you'd hate us more than Arsenal. Maybe it's because Arsenal don't take as many jibes at you, or maybe it's because you're closer to us than Arsenal. Maybe I don't even know if that's the case anymore, but I don't know. I think it's more for West Ham fans to say. Whereas we just know that for us it goes Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham, but for Arsenal, Chelsea, and West Ham, it's all Tottenham at number one.
It can be quite a vicious rivalry. You know, I've been to the ground a few times. We've seen some savoury stuff, and I'm sure you have as well. I don't know. I can't. Hand on heart, I can't tell you now why we would dislike you more than Arsenal. You know, because I've been to Arsenal and it's been, you know, it's like a day out at the fair. What
does it make you feel when Spurs say it's your cup final?
We laugh. We laugh because I think we've both got these fans within our fan bases. Is that, you know, you go on about us. When sometimes we're not even, like last year at the Tottenham Stadium. I'm going to tell you the truth. We was in the Europa League. We'd coming off a massive win against Sevilla. We all had a hangover. We got battered and they was, you know, you wanted to jibe us, and we was like, you know, honestly, at the moment we've got bigger things going on. You know what I mean? So maybe it's that. Maybe it's because traditionally we haven't got much going on, and we think, right, let's just stop what they're doing, and then we'll celebrate with that. But I don't think it's a personal thing. I just think it's something where we just like winding people up. we're like the underdogs. We like to get one over on everyone. You know, we Chelsea. When I was a kid, it wasn't Tottenham. It was Chelsea. We hated Chelsea, and all of a sudden it's just shifted to Tottenham. Maybe because of the fans becoming insufferable.
Maybe.
I don't know, but it is what it is, I guess. But do you see it as a rivalry? Honestly, I want you to be honest.
I have to say, when I was younger, I think we played you in, I think it was like 2005 or whatever, when you just got back to the Premier League, and I remember back then there was like a lot of hate coming from like West Ham fans and stuff. Obviously, there wasn't social media, so it wasn't as big, but. Yeah. I remember thinking at that time, I wasn't really bothered. Like, it's just West Ham, wherever they hate us, but wherever we don't really care about them. Now I have to say it's different. Now I think there is a real rivalry. Now I think there used to be a joke back in the day, like the whole cup final thing. There used to be a massive joke because we didn't care about West Ham, but. I guess when it's been over a decade of a certain club hating you, it's like you can't shake that off anymore. It's like you got to give something back now. And now I think recently, I would say in the last 2-3 years, you started to see a bit more of the Spurs fans, a bit more hate.
What it is, I think we get under each other's skins. You know, we definitely don't like losing to each other, and especially like when it comes in them big fixtures. You know, I remember us beating you in 15, 16 towards the end of the season,
we were going for the league.
And you was going for the league, and that sort of hampered you. I think if you'd have won that night, if I'm right, you'd have gone top of the league, above Leicester, and we stopped you from doing that. And then you've got the first game at the Tottenham Stadium, and it's just like that, isn't it? It's just one of them ones where it's just like you sort of grit your team. Just not them. Don't lose to them. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
I wouldn't say to an extent that much. I think we like getting one over on West Ham. I think that's more of a thing for West Ham than for us, because I think more for us, that's more like an Arsenal thing. I think when it comes to Arsenal, it's like just can't be them. Like, we can't allow them to get a result against us. When it comes to West Ham, it's like we don't like losing to you, but I think it means more to West Ham than it does to us. I definitely have that feeling.
Okay, let's preview the game. We've coming into it not in great form. You've been quite good, haven't you? I don't think performance-wise, but that's what top teams do, and I'm going to give you props because I'm going to, I always give props where it's due. As much as I don't like Tottenham, I always give props where it's due. Top teams pick up points when they're not playing that well, and they've picked up the points.
Yeah, and it's interesting because people say we're not playing very well, and I think that is true. We're definitely not playing at our best. I think under Antonio Conte, we've definitely set a pretty high bar recently. But, against, like, if you look at, like, the stats and stuff, like, in terms of, like, expected goals and stuff, we're still outdoing the opposition on a consistent basis. We're still like defending fairly well. I have 2 clean sheets in a row. I think in terms of chances created, we are creating chances in moments in games, but I think it's more to do with how we're starting games. The last 3 first halves have been dire, like really poor. We've been on the back foot, we've been sluggish, and then it's almost as if we just need that Conte rollicking at half time, then it kicks us into gear. Each second half we've been superior to the opposition. So I don't know what it is about why we're starting games so slowly, but I'm still happy that we're getting the results. 3 wins out of the first 4 games and a draw away at Chelsea, which isn't a terrible result. We still haven't got any of our new signings involved yet. Basuma, Richarlison. Perisic is starting to get involved now, but our main 2. So, I think the positive thing is, once we start kicking into gear, you're going to start seeing some really good football. That's what we got to see. But I think as well, a lot of Tottenham fans still have a bit of PTSD from Nuno last season. So even now, that people are saying, "Oh, we're playing rubbish. It's like Nuno. We won our first 3 games under Nuno famously, and then it went to shit." So I think there's still a bit of a fan base still a bit kind of thinking, why are we playing so badly? Is it just the same as Nuno? Or are we going to start playing really badly in the end? But I think it's different now under Conte. I think most Spurs fans see, since March, no one's taken more points than Tottenham, which is incredible to think about. We're unbeaten in 10 Premier League games. We haven't lost away from home since March as well. So I think it's a different case at the moment with Spurs.
Will the Champions League help you or hamper you?
I think being in Europe I think you have to say, will probably hamper us, because adding that the second half of last season, we just didn't have the Conference League to contend with. That was a massive help. Having the 1 game a week allowed us to concentrate on the weekend games, and you saw with Arsenal as well how much it helped them not having European football last season. So of course it's going to be an extra burden, but thankfully we have had a good window, so hopefully the squad will allow us to balance both a lot better than we would have if we had Champions League last season. So it can't be anything but something that's going to add an extra burden on the squad, but I'm hoping we'll be okay with it.
You mentioned the transfer window there. Sorry, the robot decided it wants to talk to itself. What do you make of West Ham's transfer window? Lucas Paqueta came in yesterday.
Yeah. And I think it's just really, by all accounts, he looks like a really good signing for West Ham. A player who I think who could take you up a level in that midfield. Partnering him with one of the best defensive midfielders in the league in Rice. That could be the perfect foil for him to really shine, because he's one who's been many sought after by many big clubs, although no one got him. Obviously, they had Bruno Guimaraes and him playing at the same time, and Bruno's gone to Newcastle, and you've seen how well he's done. Yeah. So there's obviously that hope he can replicate that at West Ham, and he's one I really wanted at Tottenham, to be fair, but maybe it's just a case we didn't see a natural place for him in the team. I'm not sure why we didn't go for him, but I think it's a weird one, because I see West Ham signings and I'm like, Paqueta, that's a good signing. Scamacca, he was banging goals in Serie A last season. He looks like a good signing, big, strong fella. Cornet, he had a pretty good season at Burnley last season. Carrera from PSG, he's pretty sure was in the France squad last time they had internationals. That looks like a decent signing. So it's like, that's pretty good. But then my uncle, he's a West Ham season ticket holder, and I speak to him, and he said he's really unhappy. He doesn't like what the Windows brought so far. He thinks you should be doing even more, and you've lost so many numbers, and you're very short, and you're not going to be able to cope with the Conference League and the Premier League. And I'm just thinking, what am I missing? I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing what a lot of other West Ham. I think you've had a fantastic window so far for what you would have expected maybe West Ham to have done, but I don't know. From what I see, West Ham fans don't seem to be too happy with how things are going.
I think we're okay. It's literally just the numbers, because you look at what we've lost to what we've bought in. We've bought in less, and we was all whinging last year that it was a very thin squad, with Europe and the Premier League to contend with. A couple of injuries, and we could be back, on our heels again. But what I would say over that is that we look we look like we've got more quality rather than quantity, if that makes sense. You know, if someone drops out, you've got someone that can actually come in and make a difference rather than someone that's just going to fill the pitch up. You know, the likes of, God bless his soul, but Yarmolenko, you know, he just wasn't cutting it in the Premier League. Mark Noble, his legs had gone. He was on the brink of retiring. There was this player, Ryan Fredericks, players like him, you know, wouldn't be competing for first team squads. You know, they're not going to go into training and go, right, I think Andrei Yarmolenko's ready to start against Tottenham. It just wasn't going to happen. But with what we've signed, you know, is it going to be Skamaka? Is it going to be Antonio? We don't know. Is it going to be Cornet? Is it going to be Bowen? Is it going to be Said Benrahma? We don't know. Is it going to be Paqueta? Is it going to be Ford? That's what we've added. Is a little bit of, and I've through the grapevine, I've heard there's a couple more yet to come in before Thursday.
Not a lot of time to do it.
No, but there's a couple more lined up. But we'll see what happens there. But come on, let's get the predictions for the game.
I hate predicting West Ham because I always end up with egg on my face when we lose. But look, I honestly think it's going to be a really difficult game. I think that West Ham, on the back of their first win of the season, they should have a little bit more confidence about them than they would have if they would have gone into it having not won in 4, which would have been terrible. And you know, they didn't score in their first. You didn't score in your first 3 games, and that was something that if that would have rolled on again, you don't want that going into a London derby. You want a bit of form, something. So you've got something to show for it. Now you've got 3 points on the board. I just know West Ham are going to turn up. They're going to make it difficult for us. I don't know if Paqueta's going to play. Even if he doesn't play, I know Souček and Rice are going to make it a physical battle in the middle. I don't know if you're going to play a back 3 or not. Either way, it's going to be a physical battle where you're going to be in a low block. You're going to ask us to come at you a bit more. And
is Conte willing to do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're not scared of taking control of the game. We're just not very good at it.
I was watching. Sorry, I was watching a little bit of the last game, and it was quite defensive in the first half, especially. Forest. Yeah, against Forest. Yeah, and you allowed them to come on here. If you do that against us, you know, we have got the players to punish you. But then you've got such a vast, world-class attacking talent. I don't really understand where he was going with that.
That's
to be honest.
Thing, because that's a lot of the time how Conte plays. We're not Guardiola. He's not Klopp. He's not these managers who all the time has to control every single facet of the game. He's more willing to at times cede control to the opposition, allow them to have the ball, but with the knowledge that we're ready to spring on you as soon as we win the ball. And there are many times under Conte where we have control without the ball. The opposition will have it. They'll be playing it around and looking dangerous. And then as soon as we win it back, bam, we're in on goal.
Yeah.
We're pretty much in where we've got players flooding forward and we're creating good chances, which is basically what I'm with against Forest. They had a lot of possession and they were looking dangerous. But you look at the big chances created. We were the ones creating all the big chances.
I remember one a couple of years ago when you played us there. We beat us there. I think it was a 3-2 game. And we was on the attack, and it went from, I think, who was it at the time playing right back? Might have been No, it wasn't Trippier.
Aurier.
Maybe Aurier, yeah. Aurier to Son to Kane, and his goal in sort of 3 seconds. And I was like, wow. How can you go from that to that? But that is the attacking talent that you've got, isn't it?
That's the thing. So I think Conte knows that. That's how he usually likes to play. He likes to make... His perfect game is when he can draw out the opposition, then he can hit them with the space. He likes to play with space. So if West Ham do come at us, it's a dangerous game because if they don't make the most of their possession, then they're leaving themselves exposed. Which is why I think Moyes knows even a point is a massive point on Wednesday, and I think he's going to set up to make it very difficult for us. So he's going to try and stop us rather than take the game to us, in my opinion.
I'll ask you one last question, and I'll give you mine before you give your answer. So the Tottenham player I hate the most, and that's just seeing him play against us, is Son.
Really?
Because I think he's brilliant.
Oh, okay.
And that is you know, I've always been a big admirer of Son. I think he's world class, a very underrated talent, I believe, and he can do things. Who's the one that you look at West Ham and think, oh, I hate you because you're really good?
I mean, from a YouTube point of view, it has to be Lanzini. But apart from him, I hate Lanzini so much. He always.
I think Lanzini's days are gone, mate.
I hope so. I hope so. He always seems to find one against us. But from a playing point of view, one player I just find really frustrating is Antonio, because I don't even think he's that good, but he's
got something, hasn't he?
His sheer strength gets him into situations where he can score goals, and it really frustrates me because it's like you'll play a ball into him and it'll just bounce off him like a trampoline. Yet he'll just maneuver himself, and his strength and speed will just get him into a situation where he's getting a shot on goal or he's winning a header from a corner, and he'll just somehow get something from us. And it really frustrates me because it's like we should be dealing with him.
Yeah.
But he just somehow gets the better of us.
Gets in them positions,
It really annoys me. And he's one that really frustrates me.
Sim, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Nick.
Did we get your prediction?
1-0.
1-0
Spurs.
I'm going to say 2-1 anyway. But thank you very much for coming on. Don't forget, check us out at London Stadium tomorrow. We will be doing fan cams after the Tottenham game. But if you're not able to make it to London Stadium, BT Sport with an hour pass, £25. Getting that link in the description down below. And thank you for BT to bring this to you. One thing for me left to say, let's come on, you Irons.